Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Introduce myself. My name is Santi Fauziah Ramadhani. I'm majoring in economics education. Today I want to presentation about part of speech. The first is definition. Definition of part of speech is the classification of words that are categorized through their rules and function in sentence of a language. By knowing the part of speech, you can know the function of the words in the sentence. The use of part of speech is to understand the form of sentence in English. The next is the types of part of speech. Types of part of speech. The first is noun. As the name implies, nouns are used to modes and objects. Usually at the beginning of a noun, there is a particle, an, or the. The next slide is the type of nouns. The first is countable noun, uncountable noun, proper noun. Countable noun is countable noun. This one noun is a countable noun. For the example, book, car, phone, bottle, and many more. The second is uncountable noun. Is the opposite of countable. Nouns of this type cannot be counted in number, or objects that are so numerous that they cannot be counted. For the example is sand, rice, milk, snow. The third is proper noun. Is a noun in the form of a name or nickname, so that the first letter is capitalized. Proper noun can also be referred to as a specific noun, referring to the naming of an object, nicknames, or name. For the example is Indonesia, England, Everest, Sahara, and many more. The next is common noun. Common noun, the opposite of proper nouns, so that the first letters of common nouns are not capitalized. For the example is country, city, mound. The four nouns do not specifically mention the name of the country, city, mound, and mound referred to in a sentence. The fifth is abstract noun. As the name implies, this noun expresses abstract things such as ideas, concepts, circumstances, feelings, and many more. For the example is the time, idea, imagination. The last is collective noun. The collective noun is a noun or group name or refer to a group of animals, people, or things. For the examples is couple, staff, government, utilities, family. The second type part of speech is pronoun. Pronoun is a word that is used to replace a noun. The types of pronoun is the first is personal. Personal is a pronoun to replace pointing words, namely I, you, we, they, he, she, it, and them. The The second is demonstrative pronoun to replace the adjective according to the number and distance. For the example, this, that, those. The third is interrogative. Interrogative noun is to ask a question. For the example, who, which, whom, whose, what. The next is identifying. Identifying is to state general things. For the example, is another, anything, everyone, everything, someone, none, and nothing, anywhere. The next is possessive. Possessive is to show possession. For the example is mine, yours, hers, his. The next is reciprocal noun. Reciprocal pronoun to show the words when two or more of the subjects perform the same actions against each other. For the example, each other, one another. The next is relative pronoun. Relative pronoun is for relative clauses. For the example, who, which, whom, was. The next is reflexive. Reflexive is to indicate that the subjects receive the actions of the verb. For the examples, myself, yourself, ourself, and then themselves. The last is intensive. Intensive for the example is himself, herself, ourself, themselves. The next is verb. Verb is the use to express the actions or state of the subjects to indicate events or circumstances. The verb used to show the actions of the subject, show events or circumstances. For the examples, eating, reading, swimming, and many more. The next is adjective. Adjectives are part of speech whose role is to provide an explanation of the nouns in a sentence. For the examples is funny, beautiful, luxurious, and many more. The next is adverb. Adverb. The next is adverb. Adverb is usually used to describe or modify a verb, adjective, or other verb. The types of adverb is: the first is adverb of time. For the examples, early, recently, yesterday, now, tonight. The second is adverb of manners. For the examples is fast, hard, slowly, softly, quickly. The next is adverb of degree. For the examples is enough, quiet, so, to, very. The next is adverb of modality. For the examples is likely, maybe, perhaps, possibly, and unlikely. The next is adverb of frequency. For the examples is always, barely, daily, often, and sometimes. The next is adverb of place. For the examples is away, behind, here, nearby, somewhere, and the less is adverb of focus. For the examples is also, even, just, mainly, and only. The next is preposition. Prepositions have a functions to show the relationship between nouns and other words. The types of preposition. The first is prepositions of times. For the examples is after, during, until, since, before. The next is prepositions of place. For the examples is in, on, at, above, under. The next is prepositions of movement. For the examples is inside, outside, into, towards, up, off. The next is prepositions of manner. For the examples is without, like, by. The next is prepositions of purpose. For the examples is for, and the last is prepositions of measure of or quantity. For the examples is by, for, and for. The next is conjunction. Conjunctions are used to connect two words, phrases, or clauses so that they become a sentence. The types of conjunction. The first is coordinating conjunction, which is a conjunction that connects two grammatical forms that are the same. For the examples is and, but, yet, or, for, so. The next is subordinating conjunction, which is a conjunction that connects the main clauses with the subordinate clause. For the examples is since, although, and after. And the last is correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunction, which is right conjunction. For the examples is either, or, between, and, from, to, rather, that, and if, then. The last of the part of speech is interjection. Interjection is a part of speech that is used to express emotions, usually in the form of words. For the examples is oh, hey, oops. So that's all presentation by me. Sorry for the more and less. Thank you for watching, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.